Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Geek Culture Congress. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Louis Speedy Jr. Gonzalez, accompanied by my good friend, Mr. Tarek Lewis. We're back once again, sir. How you doing?
I just found out I can do the podcast, even though the actors are on strike. I can still do the podcast.
The podcast is okay.
The podcast is okay.
You're all right. You're all right.
I'm allowed.
You can come up with jokes, right? And all that good stuff, too.
Right? Oh, yeah, I could do all that, yeah.
We're going to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, and what what does that mean for us, the fans, as well. Also, because Tarek Lewis is also a fan, actor, and comedian, and a writer too. Yeah, so he's definitely. Are you part of that? Are you in that organization as well?
I am not I am not a member of the WGA.
Okay.
The Writers Guild.
All right. Well,
I am not so fortunate.
You soon will be one day, I'm sure.
Yeah. I tried all the backdoor channels already. I tried to get in every way I could.
Oh, look at this! Just came just on time. Look at this, Mr. Joey Franchise.
I'm here.
Mr. Joey Franchise. How you doing, sir?
Not bad, bro.
Yeah, you doing good?
Not bad. Can't complain.
Excellent.
What's the word?
I don't know, man. I have a weird problems going on. My whole memory card on my roadcaster here just freaked out. Can't record the show the old way. I don't know why, but whatever. Third world problems. You know what I'm saying?
I'm liking the hat, Joey. Before we get into it, I'm liking the hat. What hat is that? Is that just
Puerto Rico, man?
Puerto Rico. That's dope.
Representing the people, man.
Sir,
that's dope.
Sir. Yes,
sir. Que bonita bandera.
Hey, Wepa. We're gonna get Wepa right now, like what Joey says.
The awful thing is I can't just wear an Africa hat. First of all, Africa is not a country.
It's a continent.
It's an entire continent. There's so much going on.
I mean, Afrobeat music is taking over the world, dog.
It really is. It really is. That's what the kids are listening to. You're gonna find that in every movie soundtrack now. You're gonna find Afrobeats.
Man, they got 21 Savage on an Afrobeat record.
I thought I heard an Afrobeat in Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I think so too.
I could have sworn I did. How you feeling about the show so far? We're in 4 episodes deep now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We finally got some. I felt this 4th one is definitely the best. Out of everything we got so far, I want to like the show more than I do. You know what I mean? I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? I feel like it's definitely a slow burn, and it's like that by design. I get it. It's a spy, suspense, mystery. Who's a scroll, who's not a scroll. But I don't know. I feel like I want to like the show more than I actually do. You know what I mean?
I completely understand. I think I'm right there. I feel like it has my attention, but it hasn't really satisfied me in a way that I'd hoped. Because obviously with the comic being, it's a classic storyline, and just having high hopes, and I thought it was going to be unique and already when it was no soups in it. It was just going to be Nick Fury handling business. I think the way they explained that in episode 2 or 3 was really solid, and it shows why Nick Fury had to go on this mission alone and handle this by himself. I don't know. I just feel like it's missing something. I don't know if it's the buildup of lackluster Marvel content that we've been getting, or what, and it's just really hard for me to really grasp because there's been so many different vibes amongst the MCU since joining the Disney Plus. I just don't know really what to make of the bigger story, and Marvel's really stood on making the story bigger than like amongst the entire universe. So it's really trying to figure out where this fits amongst the whole Kang time travel, the multiverse saga, because this is more of a Earth-based kind of situation. It's a good show. I just don't know where, like, I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's the big payoff. And I mean, and it's like that with all the Disney Plus shows. Like I feel like
Yeah,
you really don't get your payoff until like the last episodes, the last two
yeah, but
episodes.
like they should have really just. We only got 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But did you see the trailer with the big ass scroll, the big
yeah,
super scroll? I think it's Gravik. I don't know if that's in his final form or
it's
what,
cool. It's
but it
cool,
looked
but
nuts.
I don't know if I care enough anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I care enough anymore. Like it's like now I feel obligated to finish it. Tarek, help me out.
I'm liking the show.
Yeah.
I think that in light of the most recent shows, I
Mhm.
like it more than Moon Knight, and I like it more than Miss Marvel.
Okay.
I'm more intrigued in those two shows. I think if it wasn't a Marvel television show, we'd like it a lot more. It'd probably be more episodes and more drawn out. But if this was on Apple TV and it was just a show about an alien invasion, it the expectation wouldn't be there. I think what's when Joy says something's missing, yeah, it clearly is. I think what's missing is all this talk and all this underground stuff. Um, but we know it's Nick Fury and we know it's Skrulls, which are big existential threats, and we know Captain Marvel's involved, and you have James Rhodes right there. So the problem is we don't have an Iron Man, we don't have a Captain America, we don't have a Thor. Uh, a lot of the other characters aren't involved. There's no reason for Ant Man to show up. There's no real tie to these things. It's like a whole nother world, really, that we're taking on that's never been established, and it's kind of like the girl you really like her, and then she hooks you up with her friend, and you're like, she's
Okay.
okay, but it's not the girl that I wanted to. It's not the girl that I wanted to be with, but her friend's cute. So, that's what I feel like this show is. I feel like the
Like a
show is like, yeah, we
consolation
want
prize?
Avengers, and we
That
want,
was amazing example.
yeah,
Is
Amazing example. That
like
was on the
is
yeah.
nose.
it like a consolation prize? That's what the show is? That's what we get? You know?
It's just not the one, but it's solid and dependable.
It's since our first like adult Marvel anything in a minute. Like I don't feel like any of
Mm,
these movies have been really like adult. Maybe Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, but
yeah.
nothing's felt like a more mature. Like they haven't. They've been. I feel like they've been catering to a lot of the younger audiences. Obviously, Miss Marvel. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, I think this one here is it's more mature, and it's just like we just don't know how to really like embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dada. Yeah, we don't really know how to embrace it
Like,
because
I
of
don't even feel like spoiling it.
the maturity of it, and because it's crazy because they out here shooting people, like cats getting shot,
Yeah, yeah, people dying,
like
it's pre- it's
characters main
pretty raw.
characters dying,
like
you
people
know?
dying, like people in
Yeah,
Yeah.
that show dying. Like it
yeah.
wasn't dying in Ms. Marvel. Nobody was dying in Ms.
No.
Marvel.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't, but, like, I don't feel very like I don't know, like, the plot just kinda, like, accelerated itself maybe. Of course, we knew that, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk a little bit about episode 4, Secret Invasion. If you haven't caught up yet, come back and we'll talk about some other stuff. We got some, other tidbits to talk about today, but Secret Invasion, episode 4, Amelia Clark obviously survived, you know what I mean? And, that was speculated on, yeah, everybody knew that, that there's no way that she was gonna die. Did you guys saw that, or you were completely surprised by that opening scene there? Or you just
I
like,
don't
yeah, I knew it. Huh?
I don't remember her dying.
You
I
see?
barely remember it
Hey,
when
that's the
when
thing
it
of the
came
show,
on
Terry.
the recap. I was like, oh yeah, she died at the end of it.
Oh yeah, she got shot. I forgot.
Yeah.
Forgot the major plot point. Um, I I kind I knew that she had no way that I saw like they showed there was like a little scene where you could see like a little bit of the what they call that that fire stuff from Iron Man 3. What was the name of it, Joey?
Extremis.
Extremist. Yeah.
There you go. You see that a little bit, like a little hint of it before the scene cuts in the episode before. I was like, she took the super scroll thing.
Yeah. So that's my big question from these past two episodes is I noticed that too, and I thought maybe I don't know, that's just the way they die, but I noticed that too. And I didn't think too much about it because I guess my mind was like, she'll be fine, or there'll be some story about that. But
Mhm.
what confused me is does everybody have the super scroll? Because he did say that we'll all be better. So do they all have the super scroll stuff? Because he did some group things in this last fight,
Yeah, but
which we clearly saw in that little display. So I'm wondering, do they all have, or do several of them have the whole super scroll thing, or is he only giving out powers to certain people and he's keeping? I don't know. That's
I
what's
think he
interesting to
definitely
me.
did it, and then he did something to the doctors. Remember that she pulled up on the doctors before she took the the serum or whatever, or the experiment. She did the experiment on herself.
Yeah,
She remember she saw that the doctors got hemmed up, in the capture in the scroll capture machine that they
yeah.
have all the people there impersonating. And
Hmm.
I guess I gave her a red flag to be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do this, because she found the files in a previous episode, so she was
Yeah.
reading about like the process and a lot of stuff. But I had to me yeah, it's not explained, it's inferred. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's I can imagine somebody else who wasn't really paying attention is kind of like, so what's going on now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Um,
overall enjoy the show. Like I said, it's been one of the better ones. But I may be just into this type of
and
vibe
I
and
do
energy.
like it. I like it, and I want to like it more. I just want to like it more, and I don't. Like I just watch it like kind of like because it's something new to watch. Something new to
Yeah,
watch. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not
People
every
talk about, like,
Wednesday. I'm not like, yo, I gotta make sure I watch this as soon as possible.
like Thursday. You know?
It might be like Thursday, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to watch Secret
Yeah.
Invasion, and I go on while I'm rewatching Archer or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm tired of Archer. Let me go back and watch Secret Invasion.
I need to catch up on my Rick and Morty. That's what I need to
Right.
do. um, and then things come ahead. They have a big battle. Obviously the new Super Scroll is trying to get the superpowers of the USA and Soviet Union into another World War III or something, and they kind of do a a false flag attack on the president of the United States. As Russian soldiers in England. They're in England, and and they do some cool Nick Fury things here. He shoots a rocket launcher and knocks a whole helicopter out. Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
That's which is his go-to move.
Yeah,
and getting away in a Range Rover.
that was
Yeah,
literally his scene. And he was the one time that he was in Agents of Shield. That's literally what he did. He came out with a big bazooka and blew something up.
yeah, yeah. The bazooka
Bazookas
is
and
his go-to
ranges.
weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny. Um, and then another main character gets shot. It's like, how many main characters are gonna get shot and killed? Huh?
I think Talos dies though.
I think he's dead. Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
think
you
Talos
think
is
so?
dead.
You think
I
he's
think well the rumor like going around the web is the fact that like if Talos dies, Gaia, his daughter, becomes Amelia Clark's character becomes like his right hand, Nick Fury's new right hand.
yeah,
And what the speculation is that she ends up taking on the name Abigail Brand, which is obviously from the comics and part of Sword, and yeah,
yeah.
I think that might be the wave.
That's
That's
interesting.
gonna be
That's
like
a
her.
remix of that character. If they do that. You know what I mean?
I
So
could see that.
yeah,
I
Especially with
could
like the
definitely see
powers
that.
she has now after getting the powers in the machine.
yeah.
Yeah, because in the comic book, Abigail Brand can control fire or something like that, can't she?
I think she's a mutant. I think she's a mutant. I would have to look it up.
Yeah, but
Look it up.
I think no, she's not a mutant. It doesn't say here that
No,
she's a mutant. I
no.
think oh no, yeah, human mutant alien hybrid.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely dead though. I just want to reiterate that I think the Talos is
R.I.P. Tello.
Which sucks because I honestly he's probably been the more intriguing
Yeah, like
character to me throughout
his
this
arc
entire
was more
series.
interesting than even Nick Fury. To be honest with you,
yeah.
Nick Fury's just like,
He's on IMDb as six episodes. But that doesn't mean anything because Kobe Smulders, who plays Maria Hill, is on as 5. and all you got to do is be shown, and you consider being in an
Right.
episode, even if they.
No, I get
So
it. Yeah, because they just showed the one or in the scene they have another scene in episode 4 where Nick Fury confronts Skrull or Rhodey. Um and this is where this episode is where he finally reveals that he's a Skrull, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah, and
Okay,
it was so obvious though to me that he
obvious.
was the scroll. I think
Mhm.
the mannerisms and I give it to John Cheadle too to like really because he's a female. It's a female that's disguised as Rhodey, and I thought Don
yeah,
Cheadle did a really solid job of like having some of those mannerisms,
Mhm.
like the attitude. Like it was definitely like like a more like an angry female. It was definitely
yeah,
like coming at Nick Fury. That's why I was like, this don't even feel like Rhodey. Like this dude is it's definitely a scroll. There ain't no Rhodey.
yeah,
But I give it to Don Cheadle for like really sell like it made sense that it was a female scroll. So
yeah.
yeah,
I
hats off to him on that.
one of the highlights of the episode for me was him talking to the president about how he should go about things. And then the president was like, "Hey, if you drink half a bottle of bourbon," he's like, "Let me give me a mint." I don't know. That was a good comedic, funny moment for me.
What surprised me in that episode is how much Scrolls know about WWE culture. Talking about DDT and Nick Fury.
Right.
I Undertakered him. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
a lot of WWE references. I didn't know Scrolls were big fans.
Disney will be buying WWE very shortly.
Well,
Be assured, there's meetings going on.
I don't know. It seems like Disney might be selling. Might be a fire sale going on at Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that.
But I did think I would agree with Joey. I thought it was like very obvious that like that was the one thing that they didn't hide too well to me. I mean, he played it
Mhm.
well, but it was very obvious that the reveal of that was I guess could have been more sinister.
Yeah,
I wish it was more sinister. I think they were giving it away a little too early. I would have been down to be fooled up until maybe the fifth episode.
Right.
I would probably give it one more episode, but I think after the third one, we knew like, oh, this is a wrap. Especially when he called his wife.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was plain.
Like I said,
Now the wife situation was interesting a little bit to
oh
me.
yeah, that was. Go ahead.
That was interesting. Well, they shot at each other,
That's
and I
right.
wonder, did they intend on missing? What the fuck was that? What kind of relationship is this?
Yeah, that's toxic, Mr. and
Yeah,
Mrs. Smith.
yeah. What kind of toxic relationship
That's funny.
are we?
That's right.
You know,
I
and
think
a
it's
lot of
important that
questions
they
come
both
up, man. Like
that they
if
both
you're a
knew.
scroll and you're portraying an African American person, are you African American or are you bring what
I
are
know.
you?
Right. That's culture appropriation, ain't it?
Can a scroll wear a Puerto Rico hat and
Yeah.
get
Hold up.
away with it?
Damn, do you say you saying Scrolls did blackface?
Yeah.
This is crazy. That is wild.
Technically,
Yeah.
Puerto Rico is a melting pot of different cultures and different things. So
I ain't never seen a green Puerto Rican.
Well, Groot claims Puerto Rico. He
Group,
does. In the comic book, yeah. In the comic book, he claims Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I
I don't
thought
know.
that relationship was interesting and how she explained.
I do like that, but and also from the new trailer for the next episode we're gonna get this week, it seems like she's helping Kia with some battle. I guess they going up against the Skrulls. Or is there two factions of the Skrulls now? One led by Rhodey and the other one led by the Super Skrull guy. I forget his name now.
I think Brody's
Or are
still
they
part
both
of Gravik's.
together? Gravik, yeah,
I
Gravik.
think I think he's part of that whole coalition.
Yeah. Yeah, Rhodey is a Gravik disciple.
Because it seems like he's kind of doing his own thing, less than taking stuff from Gravik. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they're all pretty much separated because they all have, they're all set up in different. Like there's
Right.
scrolls that
Yeah.
are impersonating people in high power.
Mhm.
From what was it? We saw
Yeah,
it was Russia,
the
a few countries.
the meeting that they had with all the people who were undercover Scrolls.
I don't there was I don't know if it was this episode or the previous one where one of them said that some of us don't wear our skin in order to sacrifice. So it's like some of these scrolls are constantly, emulating humans and not wearing, because it seems like they're taking pride in like wanting to wear their own skin.
Right.
But some of them are foregoing that and for the cause.
Yes.
I want to say that was alluded to at the very least.
In the beginning, in the first episode, remember when Keo was doing the indoctrination of that new guy who came into the camp?
Yeah.
Came into New Scrolls, whatever. And they were explaining like, okay, you want to be a soldier, you got to take a face or a persona, but you have to commit, you have to stay in that skin. That way you don't get out of character when you're on the field.
So here's why the show is interesting to me, because it leaves a couple of questions. It seemed like up to this point that they can just impersonate someone and not have their memories or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a process where they impersonate fully and they get a full, it seemed like in that earlier episode that they were taking everything from the person's mind also, which is why Rhodey would be doing wrestling references, like she's taking everything. So I'm wondering, do you guys feel that way? Is there a difference between just looking like someone really quickly and like completely imprinting yourself to become that person?
No, they do that. Remember, they do that process that they were doing that they with the machine,
right?
Beams they alluded to some of the technology in the Captain Marvel movie. Remember when they were looking at her memories through that machine?
Yeah,
the same. Yeah,
they have the
with this machine.
Same one. It's a it's like regular PlayStation 2 and then the mini PlayStation 2. So they just miniaturize it. But they did explain how like the longer a scroll is as its human counterpart, or the person or the decides to replicate, the more they become, it becomes harder to change back.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It was either harder to change back or the more memory they like obtain.
Yeah.
Like of that from that person's life. Crazy like that. I know they explained it in like episode 1 or 2. It was one, definitely one.
It's like working in the hospitality or radio industry. It's like, once you do it for 3 or 4 years, that's just what you're doing now. Just know you're not going to go be a lawyer now, B. You're in the waiting tables and written promos and got drops for the past 6 years.
In too deep.
In too deep. Yep.
In too deep.
In too deep. All right, man. So, all right. So let's look forward to this new episode. Hopefully, it was good. It was a better improvement, episode 4. For me anyway.
We're talking about this much more in depth and with more interest than Moon Knight or Miss Marvel. We have to take that into account.
But I like Moon Knight for what it was.
Moon Knight was cool. I think it had a chance to really like stick the landing, and it just kind of lost me. I think they spent way too much time in the what was it, the ancestral plane, or his version, or their version of the ancestral plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took too much time in that whole like death sequence, and a lot. It became a weird like love for between Mark Spector and the other guy.
Yeah. Well, for me, Moon Knight looked way too much like the Beetlejuice ghost.
Wow.
Remember in Beetlejuice where they tried to turn themselves into ghosts and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked way too much like that. That's why I'm out. That's why I was out on Moon Knight. But I say that just to give.
Was that Beetlejuice or Casper?
It might have been both.
Remember Casper? There was
the
machine that turned you into a. Oh no, it turned the ghost back into human. Never mind.
Yeah.
But then they fucked up, or the dad fucked up and turned himself into a ghost or something.
I'm gonna show y'all. Exactly what I'm talking about. If Speedy will let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Hey, how do I do that now?
You got a share screen thing.
Oh, there we go. A little button.
Speaking of Beetlejuice, I guess they're greenlit for part 2, and they're gonna have Jenna Ortega.
Oh yeah, I saw
with
that.
Michael Keaton.
Ooh, yeah,
I saw that in the interwebs.
Yeah, there you go. That's wild. That's Moon Knight and the girl.
Oh yeah. That's
That's what
wild,
Moon
dog.
Knight looked like.
Oh, that's when they're in the afterlife and they have to make themselves look mean, right?
Yeah, like one day somebody's gonna get an alligator one, and that'll be the girl. Just what it looked like to me. So I was not impressed.
It's
Like
funny.
I saw this in '87.
So
Oh man. Okay. So, oh my God, there's so many other things I want to talk about today. I don't know how we're gonna squeeze it all in, but you want to talk Superman gun casting? Do you want to do the Deadpool
Let's
definitely
go
Deadpool.
Superman first.
3
We're gonna do
Wolverine?
Superman,
Deadpool.
yeah. Let's go
Whatever.
DC then the Marvel.
DC? DC? All
Yeah.
right. All right, cool. So, Mr. James Gunn confirmed that Nathan Fillion, and he was the guard on. He was the guard that was on that fleshy planet on Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy, 3, right?
Oh yeah.
that's
Yeah,
his homie, like his
yeah,
real life homie.
yeah. So there you go. He's been cast as
It's
Guy
funny that
Gardner.
that's the thing you mentioned it from where everyone else would say, "Oh my God, what's this? It's not Superfly." What is the show? The science fiction show that he was on.
I don't remember.
Oh my God,
Supernatural?
not Supernatural. It was like a space show that had like this really big cult following. Firefly.
Battlestar Galactica.
Firefly. He was
Firefly.
on Firefly. He was on Firefly. Yeah,
Yeah, he's from Firefly.
yeah.
That's what
That's
the
cool.
sweaties. There's some Firefly sweaties out there.
Well, there you go. Yeah. He's been cast as Guy Gardner. So he's going to be a Green Lantern, the new Superman movie, the Guy Gardner version of that. And apparently, he's voiced in different animated shows. He's
Yeah.
voiced another Green Lantern, the original. Uh,
The
So
Hal Jordan, yeah.
yeah, the Hal Jordan one. Yep. Isabella Merced will play Hawk Girl, and she is of what's that kids cartoon?
Dora
Yeah,
the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer. Yeah, she was Dora the Explorer.
She's
Yeah.
the voice of Dora the Explorer.
No, she's not the voice. She was in the live
She was the
action.
live
Oh,
action.
she's a live action Dora? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna be Hawk Girl, apparently. Eddie Gathig will play Mr. Terrific,
Edie.
and
He was
is that
Darwin.
his last name right? I probably didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
and he was
yeah.
in a lot of really good shows, and he's really
He was
like his acting.
he was Darwin in X-Men First Class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. Yeah,
Who I always feel, I don't know if Camp.
I
Go ahead.
can't believe they killed him off. He was supposed to be like indestructible and he just died.
figured it out.
He got the ill raw treatment in X-Men. I was like, yo, this dude's so dope in the comic book, even though he's not that popular.
Yeah,
It's like, man, this dude's crazy in the comic book. Like he takes a punch from the Incredible Hulk, and you're killing him off in the. Oh man, that was crazy.
Oh well, he's back. Well, he's back in DC anyway. He'll be Mr. Terrific. I like that character. I like Mr. Terrific character. I
I
like
don't
Mr.
think I've ever read or I've
Yeah.
never read. Well, here's the thing: I've never
He's a
been
supporting character.
heavily involved in DC, like actual comic book Batman, and Flash. So it's
Is that
like
in
I
a lot
haven't.
of
Yeah,
Justice
yeah.
League, International? Is that the one? Or the Justice League? After there was Justice League animated show, then there was a Justice League. They call it a different name, like International.
Yeah.
Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
Unlimited. There you go.
Justice League
In the
Unlimited.
Unlimited,
Yeah.
there's a lot of episodes with Mr. Terrific, and
Yeah, he takes over as like the Oracle type character, or John Jones. He becomes that, and he's on the Justice League Injustice
yeah,
animated film. Mr. Terrific is essential in that one.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like where James Gunn's going.
Yeah.
He's really like getting on some real comic book shit and
And then
about to make these
Metamorpho.
movies.
And
very
Metamorpho was
comic
cast.
booky.
Anthony Kerrigan was cast as Metamorpho. You guys remember Metamorpho from the anime?
Oh,
Yeah.
Metamorpho is one of my guys. Listen, if you didn't have money for comic books, they give you as a free Metamorpho comic book if you went in there. Take these. And you're like, who's this guy on there? It has to be Metamorpho. When you went to the book fair
That
back in
crazy
school,
like eyes like that.
you go to the book fair and buy a book, they might give you a free Metamorpho comic.
Anthony Kerrigan's got that crazy like bug-eyed look. The hell is that?
He was in X-Men too. He was in Apocalypse.
Okay.
He was who's the guy? He ended up popping up again in the last Wolverine movie, Logan.
He was
He couldn't be exposed to sun.
He was Caliban.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, Caliban. Yeah, he was a warlock, a Morlock. Yeah, he's known from Barry. Listen, they're bringing in some good names. People are going to watch if they're fans of Barry, or the Firefly Sweaties are definitely going to watch. And Nathan Fillion is really well known in the sci-fi era.
Yeah, very respected in that area.
You know, Isabel Merced. You know, like they got the representation down without it seeming forced, because they're putting characters that they got that down. I'm actually excited about that casting.
Yeah.
So far.
So he's doing a Justice League Light with Superman.
I'm hearing that it's probably gonna be like a Justice League Light kind of thing. I think also that what I'm hearing is like the villain for this one's gonna be Brainiac.
I don't know.
I'm hearing that, and I'm hearing that Metamorphosis is actually he's gonna be like an early villain in the movie.
Yeah, he is a villain in the as he starts off a villain in the at least on Justice League Unlimited or Justice League. He started off as kind of a bad guy and a friend of the Green Lantern. So I don't know if they're tying that in together or not.
Interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I'm excited for everything. We'll see. I give it a shot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to start measuring these things by how fast they get to HBO Max?
Bruh, did you see?
I don't know.
Yo, you can buy the Flash tomorrow.
You could buy the Flash tomorrow, right?
Yeah, and Transformers, Rise of the Beast. You can already buy it too.
Yeah,
crazy. Let's pivot to the Deadpool 3.
Well, before we move off DC, is anyone watching? I know, Joy, you don't do animated too much. Is anyone watching Superman
thing? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I've watched it. It's definitely geared towards teens.
Mm-hmm. It's only on YouTube, right?
No. Well, they put the first episode out on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But it shows on Cartoon Network, I think, and Max.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not bad. It's not bad. They take a different spin without spoiling too much of it. There's nothing much to spoil. They take a different spin where he's, just moving to Metropolis. He doesn't know, you get flashbacks. He doesn't know about his abilities. He doesn't know where he's from. He doesn't know about his father. He's probably about 19, 20 years old, and he doesn't know a bunch of stuff. So they're taking that angle, which is an interesting angle to take. But it's much more Teen Titans Go than it is Young Justice. Put it that way.
He's got like the lightning powers. Yeah, that he has. I saw like a scene like he had like the lightning powers.
No, so what happens is this past episode, for instance, he first uses heat vision. This is episode 3, and he first finds out that he has heat vision.
Okay.
So what happens is he's messed with the Kryptonian machine, and it kind of accesses his memories. It's accessing some memories, so his eyes go all blue.
Right.
And like one more of his powers develops, but it's not lightning power. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when he had the weird lightning powers for a while in the comic books?
Yeah, that was completely terrible. That's when it was two. Remember, it was two different Supermen. They split in half.
Yeah.
The fuck's going on?
Shout out to Leo. Leo's hanging out with us. He says Secret Invasion is on fire. Okay. All right. Fair enough. DC goes direct to Max all the time. He says. Because it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah. So I'll check it out. Probably it's good. Probably good for a good watch. Yeah. Superman. All right. Deadpool 3. Right. Everybody's seen the yellow and blue comic accurate Wolverine suit. Do we need to share it with everybody right now?
I felt like it was yellow and red. Am I wrong?
No, it's
no. You're talking about the first one. It was like more of like a rusty orange and yellow.
I didn't see a blue one.
That's the blue one. The blue one been leaking all over online.
I thought it was. I'm confused here. Then
this is the OG X-Men, the X-Men 97 looking Wolverine.
Okay.
Black, yellow, black, and blue.
I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share this picture on my screen.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not. Are you about to, Speedy?
I'm about to.
Like the burgundy and yellow joint, but I may be. I'm sorry about that.
There you go.
Maybe I'm colorblind.
That's the OG OG.
It's a blue.
Yeah. Okay. That is.
Blue.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely the yellow and blue. Okay.
From the cartoon.
It's
And
a
the
lot.
only reason he has sleeves, I guess, because Hugh Jackman had a skin cancer scare.
Ah.
Oh,
So they're avoiding the sleeveless look. So for all the sweaties who are probably going to be all like, "Oh, it's not authentic to the cartoon. He has sleeves." He has sleeves because of personal reasons.
yeah.
But I want to say that even in that original Wolverine, well, that's not the original Wolverine one, but um, in that blue and yellow, he didn't have sleeves, but he had little. He still had shoulder pads in the motherfuckers coming off the side, which is
He still got the shoulder pads.
completely unnecessary on the sleeveless. It's completely unnecessary to have a little collar on your sleeveless. Let's not fantasize much about them old costumes because that shit would probably look ridiculous. But I
Yeah.
digress.
And there's a whole bunch of behind the scenes of them filming some scenes. There's a crashed 20th Century Fox logo in the back. It's obviously they're in the that area that was shown in to us in Loki in the first season of
Dead
Loki. That was that
Deadpool
what?
kills the Fox universe. I think that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah,
It's
maybe,
their spin on Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
maybe. But it's definitely in that void, or I guess is that what they call it? They call it the void, right? In Loki.
I think so.
Yeah. So they're definitely in some kind of void. They probably got pruned or something like that, or sent over there by the what's the name of the organization in Loki? No, I can't remember.
TVA.
I mean,
Oh,
TVA.
the
Yeah,
TDA, yeah.
yeah. So it seems interesting. They have a little. We're filming a little fight between Deadpool and Wolverine there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You
but
also heard that they're bringing Elektra.
mhm.
Jennifer Garner is going to be in it,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, that's a rumor. That's a rumor.
and
But
possibly Wanda Maximoff.
and possibly even they're even thinking about or they're trying to talk to Ben Affleck about doing a little cameo as a Daredevil, the Fox Daredevil. And we'll see what happens, with that,
But
and one of the other rumors, I'll let Tarek take over, that we were talking about before we started the show. And actually, I'm down for this if this happens. Wanda,
Wanda versus Jean Grey.
yeah, yeah,
I saw
There's
that.
been
yeah.
some rumors about that.
So they're definitely gonna do what the Earth, that 838 Earth, the one that was introduced to us in Multiverse of Madness. That's gonna be one of the Earths that they're going back for. Yeah.
What's up with
So
that?
how would that work though? Like, that 838 Wanda? Well, I'm hearing that the theory is that the 838 Wanda is Magneto's daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one we saw in Multiverse of Madness, that
That other.
616, that
Mhm,
Scarlet Witch
mhm.
took over, that Dream walked with.
Right.
That's yeah. So 838 Wanda is Magneto's daughter. It's gonna be interesting to see why she's gonna fight Jean Grey though.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be interesting what they do.
The interesting thing is that because it's Deadpool, there may not be a good reason. They may be just like, it's Deadpool. It's what we're doing. You know, Deadpool could end up being a great unifying film for MCU right now.
Yeah, sure. They go crazy, right? Why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what other storylines they could do. Hold on, let's see. We got some. One of the chats you can't see is actually kind of lit. With a bunch of comments here. Leo says yes, Matt Murdock. Alternate timelines. Let's see. Oh, my wife don't like the Jennifer Gardner's Electra too much. She was like,
No,
no.
I wouldn't say most people do not.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best.
It wasn't her fault.
It wasn't her fault.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
They handed her a dud. That's what happened. She was
Yeah.
like, "Look at got this money." Leo says, "Do you guys think that they will try to merge into two universes and we move on from the Fox universe?" I think they're starting to. Yeah, they're definitely starting to.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I think for this one. I think this is going to be a big leap to move on from that
mhm,
universe.
yeah,
It's
It
gonna
may
do.
be the last Deadpool film, which wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad trilogy if it is.
that's
I
true.
I
wouldn't
don't
say
think it's
that.
gonna be a last.
You don't think so either? Yeah.
Nah, I think it's this movie's gonna do exactly what Flash was trying to do for the DCEU and Snyderverse films. Just kind of give it a nice little like swan song. So I think that's what it's gonna be. This is Fox, the Fox universe for Marvel movies. This is their swan song for everything
Yeah.
because I think they're gonna bring back some Fantastic Four characters probably.
I'll be cool with that.
So
I'll be cool. They do a little bit of all the Fox stuff. You know what I mean? Why not? Have fun, right?
I'm a rare person that liked the Fox X-Men, with the
I like
exception
Fox.
of Last
I liked
Stand.
it.
Yeah,
Last Stand was awful.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Apocalypse
that
was
was.
was
I
was
really
low
like.
mid, and Dark Phoenix was mid, but the other ones I liked.
I like what they did with Days of Future Past. I even like the Wolverine. Remember the Wolverine?
Yeah, I like the Wolverine.
I like the Wolverine for what it was and what it did and what it kind of was trying to set up. You know, um, I like some of the Fox stuff. First Class, I liked a lot. You
Yeah.
know, I would say probably the crowning achievement probably was Days of Future Past.
Oh, definitely, without a
Yeah,
doubt. Yeah.
and Logan, of course. You know,
Oh,
Logan's
Logan's my favorite. Yeah.
just in a class all by itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was definitely some hits. You know, at least some singles. You know.
What I would
Yeah,
love this movie to be is Deadpool 3. Do whatever it does,
Hmm.
and I think there's rumors that they're bringing the X Force back too
Okay,
for this one, which was hilarious in Deadpool 2 for
I
me.
think that'll be fun.
Although Domino, the actress who played, oh my god, I can't think of her name right
Zazzy,
now. Um,
Zazzy
and
Beats.
Zazie Beach, yeah, who I have just a major crush on. She won't be back apparently,
Mm.
but I hope they hide it. I hope they're just doing a good job of not telling us. I would love to see that character because that character, even in the comic books, it's like good luck. There's a couple characters with just good luck, Longshot and Domino, and it's like, all right, how's that really play out? And they did it so well in Deadpool 2 that I would love to see just a little moment
Hmm.
of that. But yeah, I was saying Deadpool could be this big unifying thing. You know, Deadpool could be the intro to Secret Wars.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Just because it's so ridiculous. So
and apparently they stopped all the filming already because the actors are on strike. Yeah, so
that,
I'll let Tarek. Why don't you
Are
explain?
you on strike too, Carrick?
I'm on strike.
Yeah, you're
I'm
on
on
strike.
strike. There's certain things I can do the podcast. I had to look it up.
Okay.
We're striking. It'll be an interesting showdown. We're gonna find out how much these studios are invested into the films. There's not a shortage of actors. There's not a shortage of people out there who would love to be in a movie. And just because you're in a Screen Actors Guild or not in the Screen Actors Guild doesn't mean you're not a good actor. So there's probably plenty of good actors who are like, "Oh, I'll do it. I'm not in the union." But ultimately, you want to be protected.
What are they fighting for, Tarek? Explain to us that don't understand.
Well, what's being fought for is because the proliferation of streaming services
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
been harder to determine how to do residuals. So if you were on Friends in 1997 and now they show Friends on WB locally or they show it on TBS during the day, it's easy to track how often they show that one. But now it's like a person has to go and watch Orange is the New Black. And they're not getting the same streaming services don't get the same ratings. They just go off of straight viewership. So it becomes harder to determine how you do residuals. So a lot of people who are on these Netflix shows that are getting watched a lot aren't getting residuals based off of ratings of reruns. They're just
That's wild. You would think, right? It's kind of like
yeah, it was unprecedented territory. Like it happened so fast. Some people probably don't remember Netflix used to be just DVDs.
Yeah,
Like, you used to get your DVD in
that's
the
when I was
mail.
on it.
Yeah.
so like it's like for example, like the movie that's on Amazon that you were in, Tarek. Like you don't get any residuals from that, or that's hard to track?
No,
Wow.
no, I don't get any
Wow.
residuals from that. And the
That
director and the writer, he's not getting any residuals from that.
wow.
And he was
That's
in it
tough.
too, so he's not getting
Damn.
any residuals.
So how do
Um,
you go about getting that whole situation fixed, and how does everybody play nice and making sure that guys like you get taken care of on that end?
well, yeah, well, that's the purpose of the Screen Actors Guild is to negotiate that for us. Um, and that's what they're asking for. They're saying, listen, we gotta renegotiate these terms, and they upgrade those terms all the time. As a person who makes my own films,
Mhm.
and I use SAG actors, they renegotiate these terms all the time and update them and upgrade them and make it easier for a person to make short films for distribution on YouTube. They made it really easy because it's not like a lot of money involved. But the problem
Right.
is Netflix and Prime, and they have a lot of money involved, so you can't apply the same things. Another big thing, real quick, is AI.
Mhm. Ah, okay.
AI is a big, major sticking point. I personally believe that this is going to be one of the first battlegrounds for AI for everybody in all the industries, uh, because they can basically, if you're a background actor, you're an extra, or you have one line, they can then scan you and say, "Hey, take these videos for us," and then use your image in any and everything. So instead of like hiring a bunch of background actors to be in the club, they got an image of you dancing, and we'll use AI to make you do other things. So
Right, or they probably got, like, a library of background actors, right? And they could just be
yeah,
like, "Well,
and
let's fill it all up," right?
yeah, and they want to use it. They want to be able to use that image forever.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So that's tough. That's like somebody taking your image and using it forever. So that's where the negotiations are. I don't know how they're going to fix that. I wish everybody who's negotiating the best of luck. I understand the studio side. It's like, hey, we got some new technology to make everything cheaper,
Right.
but you also spent $300 million on Indiana Jones. So I
It
don't
took
feel,
a L.
I
It took a
don't
hard
feel
L.
too bad. You know what I mean?
I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen Mission Impossible. I haven't seen,
Ooh, Mission Impossible is awesome.
gosh, I feel like it's something else I haven't seen yet either, but I don't know.
Yeah. So like Mission Impossible is a good example. Like Tom Cruise, I saw an interview. He was saying where he still does some of the stunts, which is
Mhm.
crazy. Tom Cruise is out of
Yeah.
his fucking
Well,
mind.
yeah, he's just crazy, but
He's like,
that's
no,
all
I
that matters.
practice, I
He's like,
practice
"Yeah,
skydiving and bungee jumping
I
for all
I
these
I
movies.
I
Like,
fly these F-15s, sure.
yeah.
I had to
So
really
stuff,
shoot at me too, yeah."
so stuff like that, they would take out of Tom Cruise's hands and be like, we're not going to have you do all that stuff. But so, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But such is life, Phil. We'll see. But I'm standing with the actors and the writers.
Yes,
Also, I
sir.
think the directors came to an agreement. Be watch out because I think you're going to start seeing animators and the people who do the motion graphics and all that. I don't know if they even have a union. You're going to start seeing those people kind of fretting about
Wow.
the pay and all that. But that does make all of that is what makes the movie so expensive.
Yes, sure.
To be honest, like, you
Sure.
got to blow
And
something
the
up.
and the and the writers have been striking for a while now. Like, how long have the writers have been striking now?
About 3 months, three
Yeah,
4 months.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is interesting territory.
yeah.
So
People are
when
going to start to get mad when the next Spider-Man doesn't come out,
yeah,
or
yeah,
the
or does Deadpool 3 gets delayed? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
anything. Because right
Yeah,
now it ain't filming now.
no,
That's damn sure.
no,
So I wish all the actors and all your all everyone that's in your union best of luck. I hope they get everything they deserve and everything they're fighting for. Also the
Yep.
writers as well. And that's I hope I hope it gets resolved soon so we can enjoy all this stuff like, all over again. So
yeah.
um let's keep 'em moving. I think the last thing I want to talk about was Bob Iger.
Good
Bob
old Bob.
Iger. Yeah, Bob Iger.
Oh,
Back in the driver's
he
seat.
under yeah, he under fire now with the recent comments.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
bro, I'm looking at that Disney stock and it's falling,
Mm-hmm.
falling.
Only
I
one
don't know.
happy about that is Ron DeSantis. He's like, yes.
Yeah, he didn't help,
Ron DeSantis like, fuck that mouse.
he says, They're gonna cut back the flood of Marvel movies and series, and we talked about this, Tarek. You know, dilution of the brand, too much
Yeah.
stuff, and I kind of gotta agree. I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Bob Iger here. I think he said it's diluted the brand a little bit. Yeah, diluted focus and attention is the actual quote. There you go. What do you say, guys?
I'm with it. I agree, and we were seeing it on the. We're seeing
Seeing
it
it in
with
live action
Marvel. Yeah, we're seeing it with all the
in
Marvel
real
stuff,
life.
bro.
Seeing
Too much shit going on.
and Star Wars
Uh,
too. Star Wars too.
Star
Yeah.
Wars too. Yes, Star Wars too. But like for example, like I mean, respectfully, I mean, I know they're gonna drop this Echo series, and I know what they are gonna do. This is gonna be the first
Might be a
time.
hard skip for me.
Yeah, this is gonna be the first time Disney Plus is gonna let you binge them all. So they're gonna drop all the episodes at once because they know. I mean, I'm sure Bob Iger is looking as like there's no demand for this character to have a show. Respectfully.
Yeah.
So I think like nobody asked for that. Like nobody asked for Echo series. If you wanted to put Echo in a Deadpool series, wonderful. But like for to have a spinoff for a character who's just not as popular as the comics she's been, referenced in,
Right.
why would you pull that trigger? You know what I mean? Like it just didn't add up. That's just like a prime example of as to why like I get why, and I like the idea of Bob Iger addressing the fact that by dropping too much content, you're just diluting the brand. Um, I think somebody who's really mastered so far, like giving us like a bunch of shit and it being like solid is HBO or Max.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like all their shows have been really really good. And it's just like one right after the another. It feels like, but it's always good content. I think Disney is really trying to compete in a sense with like a Netflix and Max, and just seeing kind of like how they do things. And it's crazy because it's like Disney will make good movies, but then like their app content, their streaming stuff is not like amazing. Like
Yeah.
I've yet to be blown away by a Disney Plus show for anything Marvel, and even now like with I wasn't really impressed with this last season. I tapped out after 2 episodes. So
Yeah.
at some point you just got to kind of like wind it down, like reel it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
I
was a
agree.
point in life where I remember GM had Pontiac, Buick, Chevrolet, and like two other brands. And remember I did a survey for GM and I said, who the fuck wants a Sunfire? Like no one asked you for the Pontiac Sunfire.
Yeah.
Everyone who doesn't have money is getting the Geostorm. We don't need the Pontiac Sunfire. You don't see no Pontiacs anymore. They figured it out, but unfortunately, they had to go broke. I think Bob Iger is trying to curve that and say, okay, listen, our stock is dropping in all these different arenas. Kevin, it's reported that there's rumors that Kevin Feige said Echo was a disaster.
Mm.
I just like Speedy
But I feel
said.
like we called that. We called that like a
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
ago. Like nobody asked for that. Like
yeah.
Indiana Jones, as much as I love Indiana Jones, nobody asked for Dial of Destiny.
And that's good. Now there's another article. It says CEO Bob Iger considering selling streaming services and other assets, may even try to sell entire Disney company. Yeah.
Who the fuck's gonna be able to buy Disney?
I
You
don't
could.
know. Well, Apple.
There's
Apple's
going to be
done
four
along with
gentlemen, four young princes in Dubai are going to buy Disney.
maybe.
Elon
They're
Musk.
definitely trying to sell
Yeah,
ABC.
like, who can
God, please
afford
no.
that?
God no. God no.
Yeah,
God no.
they're trying to sell
Please
ABC,
God.
Freeform, and FX.
I didn't know Freeform was. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, FX is part of the Fox deal. I didn't know Freeform was part of Disney. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think they don't need Freeform.
Yeah, what the
I
fuck is
mean,
Freeform?
Well, it's their like cable. They
Reportedly,
show like The Office, and they
Yeah,
throw some Disney shows, like the more like mature Disney shows on there.
yeah,
yeah. I
reportedly,
remember they used to have Cloak and Dagger was on Freeform, I believe.
Yeah.
right. Reportedly, they lost 4 million subscribers last quarter, and the streaming is expected to have hit a total loss of 800 million in the third quarter.
I mean, I blame a lot of that on, again, I don't know. I know there's been, because of the old girl who got dropped from Marvel, one of the producers, Esposito.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, there was a lot of complaints that there wasn't really much to work with for visual effects, not only in the movies but in the TV. So if the movies aren't getting the visual effects that they need to make it look right, I mean, what do you think the TV show is going to look?
Yeah,
It
Well,
showed because the TV because the Disney Plus
yeah,
series, the effects on that weren't amazing. I think Star Wars might have had some like better visual, but Star Wars does use a lot of costume,
yeah,
which is different.
yeah.
But for the Marvel shows, I mean, visual effects were in my. I mean, She-Hulk was an example. Even Ms. Marvel and the way she used her powers, it wasn't really grabbing. You know, it didn't really. It looked fake.
that's right.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, it just. I don't know, man. I really lost my train of thought just now. Just of my disgust for what's been being presented for Disney Plus, because I think they're touching stories that I think are not as appealing as they would be in the movies, and I think that's why they made Armor Wars. But for Armor Wars, they're going to need a lot of visual effects because they're going to use every goddamn Iron Man suit known to man. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, they're just get. I feel like we're just not getting. They're not packaging the right characters to Disney Plus shows. I don't think they should be doing Disney Plus series anymore. I think they should just 1 hour presentations, or maybe just
Well,
movies dedicated to the actual Disney Plus.
then it boils down to another problem. I mean, when you have a competitor like Netflix, that's just literally just like new content, new content. Oh, Japanese anime, sure. Korean shows, sure. It's just like bam, bombarding people. Oh, movie you haven't seen before, a long time, bam. They're
But
just
I love it. They they
that.
they they really they created the blueprint. I mean, Derek was just talking about how they started from just slanging DVDs to your mailbox,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
how you just
When you go to Disney Plus, there's not much new movement happening on Disney
right,
Plus right now at all,
and you look
except
at
for
like
Secret
movies
Invasion.
like Chris Hemsworth's his Extraction 2 does really good.
Yeah,
Then people go back and watch Extraction 1 because everybody's talking about how good 2 is because they didn't see the first one
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Like it's the Netflix really just kind of has the formula on drawing people in.
Mhm.
They do the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary. Now you're going
Right.
back and watching all the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Right,
films because the
right.
documentary was actually very
Mhm,
good.
Yeah.
mhm.
That's what it did for me. I went back and watched Last Action Hero, and that movie was trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like I for it because of the fact that Arnold
I was
Schwarzenegger's
watching,
documentary was
they
good.
grabbed the Justice League animated show, and I was watching the first couple episodes again. I was like, "Oh, man,
Yeah.
I remember this."
So HBO is doing that very well, and Netflix is too. I find myself watching old content because the new
Same.
content is out. So I watched Superman and Lois. I didn't watch it on CW. I watched it on HBO
Mhm,
Max or Max. I'm
mhm,
sorry. And I'm like, oh, I'm
mhm.
going to go back and watch this episode of Justice League, and I wonder what universe he's in. So I'm going to go back and watch Superman Unbound, and then I'm getting ads for it. And what Disney is missing is that they still believe in the theaters. Some of these things need to be just Disney movies. A live action Mulan should probably have been. Well, I don't know. Was that just a Disney one? That was just a Disney.
That was Disney.
It was.
Yeah. Some of these things, these kids movies. What is the one that came out and it didn't do well? I,
Mermaid, right? Mermaid did
no, no,
fine.
not Mermaid. There was an
It was,
animated one.
the fire in the water one,
The
I forgot the
Fire
name
and
of
Elements.
the
it.
Dragon. Oh, the Elementals.
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 Like
Yeah, that should have
I,
went straight to. I would have threw that right on the service.
something like that
Yeah.
should go straight to the service. And you start thinking about stuff like who really wants to take their kids to the movie theater and test to see if they can sit in the movie? Not everybody wants
Me,
to do that.
me,
Yeah.
I
You
am
do?
him.
I remember
I
sitting with my
listen.
wife.
I am that person that doesn't want to take his kids and try it. You know how many times me and my girl sit down and like have a conversation like, you think it's right to take this kid to go see Little Mermaid live action and sit down for 2.5 hours? Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not. I probably can't. I can't
I
do that.
remember I remember watching the trailer for Elementals with my wife in the theater, and I remember looking at her and I said, "Well, we're skipping that."
Yeah, like that could have went to Disney Plus, and then you figure it out. You just you got your kid. You got stuff to put on for your kids, and that way you got new content for your app.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But I
saying?
think that's the problem. That's a big problem. It's a double-edged sword, I guess. They kinda like they built this corner, they they boxed themselves into a corner. There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the
So
thing.
it took in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My bad. But here's the thing. A lot of Disney's like lore like is just creating a dream world of magic for children,
Hmm.
or
Mhm.
for young adults, I should say, like
Yeah.
young kids. That's part of the lore, and the people that grew up with that lore. My sister is a prime example. You know what I mean? She is Disney everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ride or die Disney, going to the park probably like once or twice a week, that
Yeah.
type of shit.
Mm.
So growing up like that, we had so much content as kids, like, obviously the movies and stuff like that. But like these days with kids who have YouTube and all these other like little apps that they mess around with, like how invested are they into watching shows and movies through Disney Plus? And a lot of that their audience comes from young children, you know what I mean? Young
Yeah.
elementary school kids, young kids growing up, my daughter. And it's like my kid is more interested in watching Blippi on YouTube than she is on a Disney Plus app.
Yeah.
Right.
You know
And
what I
we know
mean?
kids are fickle. Like Peppa Pig was hot a few years ago. I can't even remember what I used to buy my goddaughters. And I was like, yo, y'all on this right now? They were on something, and then the following
My godson,
for Christmas they were on one thing. On her birthday, she was on something else. And I'm like,
my
Yeah.
grandson is
just
all
take the
about
fucking money at this point. Just take my
my
money.
grandson is all about Little Angel. Little Angel.
See, I've
Little
never even
Angel.
heard of this, you know.
I never heard about Little Angel until he said, "Little
I'm
Angel?
probably
Little
gonna
Angel?"
that's probably gonna hit the iPad in like a couple of days or so, another month.
So
It's
yeah, Bob
crazy.
Barkers, they need to peel back. I think the Star Wars shows have been very good. I mean, I don't doing the Book of Boba Fett probably
Book of Boba Fett
could have just been
was
a
hot and
season of The
cold.
Mandalorian, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like that
It
probably
was
2.0.
hot and cold. Hot with some speed bumps.
yeah. Obi-Wan
You know?
Obi-Wan to me was great. The first few seasons of The
Oh,
Mandalorian.
cool.
And I think that's it. But Book of Boba Fett, Star Wars Visions is a great little series. I like those animated series on Star Wars Visions. They need to do more stuff like that, and
Yeah.
then say, okay, this is going to be a big theater release. You know, we're
Right.
going to do Secret Wars. No way you're getting that on Disney Plus, but
Mhm.
you might get the Black Widow backstory on Disney Plus. You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
Here's where I think Disney can kind of hopefully this is my idea of like maybe like how a shift should probably go. I think you should make more of your Marvel stuff. Because you gotta understand the people that are like really invested into watching your series at this point are people that are fans of Star Wars and Marvel.
Yes.
I don't really think anybody's caring about Jeff Goldblum doing sneaker reviews and touring sneaker spaces. And like it's funny, it's cool, I get it, I love Jeff Goldblum, but let's just keep it G. Like your main audience when it comes to like people like our age,
Yeah.
24, like 20 somethings and up, you're catering to them and trying to appeal to them in a sense. So you got Star Wars fans, people, and obviously Star Wars has a very rich fan base, very rich traditional fan base
Yeah.
that goes back years prior to even us probably being born. So it's like focus on that. I think you're onto something as far as Star Wars, even though I haven't watched much of the content, is the fact that they have good storylines and they've actually been putting out good shit. For Marvel, the series haven't been good. The movies have been okay, and at least for this phase, I think, with the exception of
Yeah.
Loki, the series, Loki's the only series that was hitting. To keep it G, and maybe WandaVision, Falcon.
I like like WandaVision. I like
WandaVision
Wanda.
was cool, but it was the first. It was the first setup for,
Yeah,
and then after that, we kind of had high hopes for everything else. After that, I think Loki
Yeah.
lived up to it, and so on, and then it kind of just digressed. I think you should turn down these Marvel series. Maybe just keep Loki as a series. Popular characters are pretty solid, interesting characters that we've already seen prior to Disney Plus series being a thing. WandaVision was fine. I'm cool with that. Vision Quest, I'll probably be cool with that as well. Um, but having these no name guys, eh, characters that probably weren't as popular, they're just brand new characters that just popped up on the scene as of recent. Like you got to kind of spoon feed people these stuff. Like if you were to put, like, I think Ironheart might have hope because of the fact that she was already in a movie.
yeah.
It's hard for, I think it's harder for people to digest a new character when they haven't seen him in the films already.
Ye-
And I think it creates a new investment for an audience, to care about that character if they hadn't seen him in a thing. Like if Ironheart came out before Black Panther, I probably wouldn't have been crazy about
No,
to watch it.
I'm with you on that.
You know what I mean? So I think more like if they're gonna take if they're trying to build up these characters, I'd probably do a one off, maybe a film catered to that character, or just
Oh, the Werewolf by Night one-off is great.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was awesome.
yeah.
I enjoyed
We'll do the
I,
one
I,
hour,
I agree with you on that. Yeah. So like
1 hour presentations, and cut it down, trim it down. Only the popular characters that people have already been invested in that were in movies prior.
a character like Echo, they introduced Echo in the Hawkeye series, where we get introduced to the new Hawkeye, but the new Hawkeye doesn't get a series. Echo gets one, and we don't give a fuck about Echo. We want to see
No, I,
we
I
want to
like
see the
Kate Bishop.
Kingpin.
I want to see Kate
You
Bishop.
you tease us the Kingpin. Now we watch Hawkeye and want to see Daredevil and maybe the new Hawkeye. But we don't want to see Echo. Like, and no offense to the actress and to the people, but like that's not good research. Like, we weren't asking for that.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, what if the Echo show is technically a Kingpin show, you
well,
know?
let's just make a Kingpin show.
But it's make it a Kingpin
Yeah.
show.
They should have done that,
Yeah,
right?
which is
That's what
which
Yeah,
Sony is
I feel
probably
like
going to do.
Echo show
Sony's
should
going to be
off
like,
Kingpin.
Sony presents the Kingpin. Sony might do a show on who's Aunt May's dog. Did she have a dog? Sony might do a show on the dog. Sony's doing every Spider-Man.
And any Spider-Man thing, they
The
just might have
Flash
something.
Thompson show with Sony.
Yeah.
Sony.
yeah.
I think, but like when you said it, you brought up Extraction. Extraction is the Russo brothers and the other director and Chris Hemsworth. If Disney had said, "Listen, Chris, we want to lock you in for other movies," Disney doesn't have enough original programming outside of the Marvel and the Star Wars situations and the stuff they've owned previously. They don't have enough original programming. So what they're going to do is they're going to show Chris Hemsworth doing push-ups in the Himalayas. And 27 to
reality
52-year-old dudes aren't paying to watch Chris Hemsworth triceps on a mountain, and that's not your audience. We, like I said, Jeff Goldblum playing basketball with Beatles, and Jeremy Renner. We crying. We didn't pay for that. Like, we don't care.
Those shows are way cheaper to produce too. I mean, you know what I mean? No special effects,
Right.
just
Give us a low, like Netflix will do a movie. I think there was one where he was a vampire. It was vampires, and it was Jamie Foxx and Snoop was in the shit, and they were fighting vampires.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that was entertaining.
like,
It wasn't great.
It's not great, but it's entertaining. Disney needs to give us some stuff like that with Chris Evans, or put Robert Downey Jr. in a little quick film.
Original, right?
Yeah,
a little rom-com or something. Something.
And we'll
right?
watch it on Disney Plus, but you're not giving us enough. It's becoming very increasingly hard not to cancel Disney Plus.
I agree with that.
There you go.
Dog.
And that was
I know people that
grand slam that knocked it out of the park, ladies and gentlemen.
I know people that get Disney Plus just because, okay, I gotta watch the new Marvel series because of what it's probably gonna lead to. Then you just cancel after the series is done.
Yeah,
and then
right.
they pick right back up when the next one comes on.
Yeah.
Okay, I know some people who got the Disney Plus because they were like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna watch all the old Marvel cartoons. watch the old X-Men, the old Spider-Man stuff. But then like they watch it all and they're like, okay, there's nothing else. Okay,
Yeah,
well I
if
don't need this.
God
Yeah,
forbid I finish Gargoyles, I don't know what I'm watching on there anymore.
I love
They better
Gargoyles.
hurry up with this
Oh,
Daredevil episode season.
they're doing a live action Gargoyles, and Kenneth Branagh is directing it.
Oh man, that's the dude. Yeah, that should be dope.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well,
Live action Gargoyles, that's lit.
what have you guys been watching, man? I finished Star Trek season 3 of Picard, and I like Star Trek stuff.
I was
I
going to
like
ask
them.
the group, and I thought about this today. I said we never talk about Star Trek. I don't watch it, but
I don't watch Star Trek.
there's a Strange New
It's good.
World series that is out. That
That's also a very good show too. If you like the original style, the original Star Trek.
yeah, and I see the Spocks on this one, so I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
So I try to get into Star Trek. So that's one of those universes that's so expansive. I don't know if I can catch up.
Yeah,
Like, all right,
yeah,
Yeah, I got confused. I used to watch it a lot as a kid. I used to watch First Generation.
yeah, right.
So or Next
Next
Generation.
generation, yeah,
So I used to watch that. Patrick Stewart, that was my guy back then,
yeah. If you like
for
it,
Star
you'll
Trek.
enjoy
But
at
I
least
but I
season
but
3.
they went on some other shit, like,
Yeah,
they opened a whole can of God knows what, and then they lost me after a while, so that's
season
when I stopped.
1 of Picard is really good, especially if you're a Captain Picard fan. Season 2 is kind of okay.
so Picard
Um,
is basically a secret invasion with with
almost,
with
almost,
Homeboy
almost. Because
instead
actually
of
something
Samuel
happens
Jackson.
in season 1. There's something that happens in season 1 to Picard that's important for everything else,
Yeah,
and you're kinda like, "Okay," it's like a rebooted Picard, but just not to ruin it for you, okay, if you ever decide to watch it,
yeah,
but when you watch season 2, you're gonna be like, "Okay, it's not bad, but it wasn't great, it could've been better," and then when you watch season 3, you're like, "Damn, this is dope." But they ain't talking about nothing that happened in season 2 at all. It's
yeah,
like season 2 didn't fucking happen at all, and you're kinda like, "Okay, well, whatever, it's dope."
yeah. Well, I have to say this. I want to say before we get off, I watched
Mhm.
Silo on Apple TV.
Okay.
Good
Is
show.
it good? Yeah.
Good show. I would like more resolution in the ending, but it's definitely going to
Mhm.
be a season 2. Good suspense, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic type situation.
Man, I need to fire up Disney my Apple Plus,
Apple
and watch
Plus,
some
some
more
Yeah.
people are
stuff.
sleeping on it.
Yeah.
Foundation. I started watching Foundation.
Yeah, is it lit?
It's been I've only been 2 episodes. Pretty good so far. For
Mm,
All of Mankind, which features Edie Afigi, I think who's going to be playing Mr. Terrific. He's in there.
okay. Oh, okay, okay.
That's been good. That's a fictional. That's a rewriting of the man's first travel to the moon, and
I
it
see.
kind of changed situations. Servant on there is a horror sci-fi film a series that I got into. So there's some geek stuff on Apple TV
Yeah,
that people might want to delve into.
cool.
Dope.
What about you, Joe? You watch anything we need to know about?
Damn, what am I watching?
Or you watch?
Nothing too crazy, dog. I've just been on my YouTube shit. So I've been like going down this
Mm,
rabbit hole of like watching, like reading like documentaries. Or like I have a thing. My favorite thing on Netflix, and I wish they make more another season of it. And I hope they still do. I gotta look on Google. The movies that made us. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
I
Mm,
watched the
I
toys.
yeah.
The toys that made us one, I
Yeah,
watched.
the
I love that
the
whole
toys that
show.
made us was good too. But I was hoping they make more of those. So I've been going down like a rabbit hole of YouTube, just seeing how certain movies were made. I think I was watching one about the Batman movie with Michael Keaton, the third one that was written, but it never came out. I did one. I watched one on that. I watched one on the Superman that Nick Cage was supposed to make, and
Mhm,
that's a really good one actually. And
interesting.
uh, I think the Spider-Man 4 movie that never got made, and the James Cameron one.
Very
It
interesting.
was a
Yeah.
James Cameron Spider-Man with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Leo
That
was
never got made.
Leo was supposed to be Peter Parker,
Oh, snap.
and it just
That
never
would have been
happened.
interesting. Yeah. Maybe we dodged a bullet.
Man, damn, Leo is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Um, Tarek left. I don't know what
no,
happened. We're
sorry,
gonna
I
make a run.
had to run away real quick and
Oh, okay.
plug my computer up
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
because it was
cool.
about to die. So I'm here.
Oh, well, no, we're
Was
gonna
your
wrap up
question?
the
I'm
show
sorry, I
anyway.
had to run real
No, no,
quick.
we're gonna wrap up the show anyway.
Yeah. Okay. When we're wrapping up, I do want to say one thing. You mentioned the
Uh-huh.
Batman movie. I'm very curious to see what the Flash's streaming numbers are.
Oh, people might tap in for the Flash might
What
do
was
good
it?
Of the Flash movie, I'm very curious to
What
see
was
how
it?
much it gets
because we
streamed.
talk so much crap about it.
Black Adam streaming numbers good? Like it didn't do good in the box
I
office, but
think
they did
so.
good on Max.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I know a lot of people. 1.2 million households in 3 days watch Black
In two
Adam on HBO
days?
Max. Yeah, in 3 days. I'm
Mm.
sorry.
That's impressive.
Mm.
It's impressive. So I know a lot of people I know several people who were like, I'm not giving my money directly to the film, but I'll wait. And they
Yeah.
waited them out. And here it comes. So
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us today here, Geek Culture Congress. Of course, thank you so much for listening to us. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, thank you for hanging out with us here. And we try and do this each and every Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do it on the Speedy's Multiverse YouTube channel. You give us a follow over there. If you're watching this on another platform, thank you so much for joining us as well. If you're so inclined to and you enjoy the audio version of this podcast, by all means, follow the audio version of this podcast wherever good podcasts are listened to, and just look for Geek Culture Congress podcast and give us a subscribe over there. Thank you so much if you're listening to the audio version of this. And our numbers are great on the audio version of this podcast. So thank you so much. We really appreciate all the support over there on the audio side. So Tarek, let everyone know listening to
thank
this
you all.
how they can follow you.
My name is Tarek on Instagram and also on
Mr.
YouTube.
Joey Franchise.
You can hit me up on my personal page at Joey Franchise, and then Franchise on Film for anything more deep dive on a lot of the Marvel stuff. I do movie reviews, non spoilers, trailer drops, you name it.
All right. And then for me, you can follow me at DJ Speedy JR, all the socials. Follow my YouTube channel at Speedy's Multiverse. Speedy's Multiverse. And Wednesday, I'll be back with Mikey Sutton for a regular episode of Speedy's Multiverse. And we'll do all those scoops and all those inside info that he likes to drop on the live show, on the live recordings with him. And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out with us here at Geek Culture Congress. You guys have a good rest of your evening, wherever you may be, or rest of your day if you listen to this on the replay or the audio version. Okay, have a good one, everybody. Be safe.
Peace.
Peace. Bing, bing.